I'm a heart transplant coordinator. I'm a nurse that works on the heart transplant team, help the team with evaluating patients who are being considered for heart transplant, also help coordinate the listing of those patients, and help manage the medical care after transplant. I first became interested in nursing when I was a freshman in college. I knew I wanted to help people who were sick. I also knew I wanted to balance that with a family life and make sure I had time for that family life. So I decided to go into nursing. And I've worked with folks who have had heart surgeries of various kinds since I've been a nurse here at Duke, and have been a transplant coordinator for about 3 years, and have found it to be a really a good position that suits me well. So the education required for my job does include a bachelor degree in nursing. I went to Emory and got a bachelor's degree there in nursing through 2 years of basic undergraduate studies and then 2 years of an undergraduate nursing program. So I completed that education for this job in about 4 years. This job also does require some experience as well, hands-on experience with nursing, and so I did that all here at Duke in the heart surgery units here at Duke. My first job out of school was on the cardiothoracic step-down unit here at Duke, 3100. I worked there for about 1.5 years taking care of patients after heart and lung surgeries. The stressors that I run into in my job are many and varied. We talk to patients about transplant during a very stressful time in their life, and so we really have to interact with both patients and their families when they're in probably the most stressful situation they've ever gone through. And so helping them navigate that process during that really stressful time. And then also when we actually coordinate transplants, we have to really be timely and accurate and thorough in the work there in coordinating a transplant. It's pretty common to run into situations where we haven't exactly run into that situation before, and I have to really be able to think on my feet, think critically, evaluate that individual scenario and make my best judgment and just go with that as best as I can. Things that I encounter that make my day positive, I'd say that number one thing is seeing the patients who do really well after their heart transplant. We get to see them in clinic, and a lot of patients are able to return to work and return to the life that they wanted to get back to, and that's so fulfilling to see that. A number of our patients also volunteer. They volunteer either with the Heart Center here at Duke or with Carolina Donor Services, and being able to see them give back to the community when they've been given this gift of transplant really makes it worthwhile to help in the care of those patients. It's also pretty exciting to be the one to give that call to the patient at home to say, hey, we're looking at a donor heart for you, come on in to Duke. That's kind of a fun, special thing that not many people get to do. So I get to be one of those people. I would suggest being a transplant coordinator to some folks. I would say it's not for everybody. It's for people who are really passionate about nursing, people who are willing to work hard and think critically and really give it their all. It can be a very fulfilling and rewarding position. We're able to develop those long-term relationships with people. Our patients we care for the rest of their lives, and we see them in the clinics, and we see them really through their lifetime. We're able to develop a close relationship with them, and that's not something I was able to do when I was a staff nurse, and something that I enjoy about being a transplant coordinator. So for those who are considering leaving staff nursing to go into another position, that's something to think about. If someone is just considering nursing and whether or not to go into that, I do recommend nursing as a career. There's so many different things that you can do with a basic nursing degree, and I've been able to be a floor nurse. I've been a nurse in the ICU here on the cardiothoracic ICU, and all that experience has led me to be a transplant coordinator with a heart group. And I think if you're willing to stay up nights sometimes to work those transplants and come in the next day and still work some more, it takes some passion, some motivation, but it's a very rewarding position. So my role here at Duke is important because with the heart transplant team, there's a lot of different folks on that transplant team. You've got the physicians, the surgeons, the social worker, the pharmacists, the secretaries, the financial counselors, and the transplant coordinator gets to be sort of the spoke of that, the center of that wheel with so many spokes. We're the go-to person if one of the other team members isn't sure sort of where in the pathway the patient is for transplant. We help navigate sort of the rest of the team members, and especially help navigate the patient to get through the transplant process. And so that role is key, to be that one go-to person, to be like, what's going on with so-and-so? Oh, well, let's ask the transplant coordinator. And if I don't know off the top of my head, I'll figure it out and get back to you. So the transplant coordinator really is sort of the center of that varied team of transplant professionals.